All right, here we go. This is going to be a 357 SIG versus 45 auto test. Today we have a couple Speer Gold Dots to try out. So for the 357 SIG, that one is 125 grain. There is that one. It does have your nickel plated brass on that. That one is rated at 1,350 feet per second. And for a 45, that one is a 200 grain plus P. So both middleweights here. Also nickel plated brass, and I believe that one is rated at 1,080 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So for our 357 SIG, we'll be going out of our Glock 33. That one does have a 3.42 inch barrel. And for our 45, we'll be using our Rock Island. That one is the GI 3.5 inch barrel. And I do have some G10 grips on that. So we'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 25 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 357 SIG. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so our impact velocity on that one was 1,322 feet per second. So not too bad at all for that short barrel. All right, so it looks like we got a pretty good hit on that one. You can see right down in that cavity like always, and it looks like we got a nice, good star pattern so far. So really good to see there. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that stretch cavity out. Looks like that one did really good too. Got some nice spiral cuts going throughout that, pretty much that whole block. It does look like it settled down a little bit towards the end, and we did make it into that second block, so not too bad. So let's see, it doesn't look like we had a blowout, so let's see what kind of measurements we have on this one. So our widest point, we are at 2.5 inches, so really good to see for that short barrel. So let's check it out from the side. Oh yeah, same thing from the side. Got a nice good stretch cavity on that one. Hopefully you guys can see this really good, but really nice so far. So it looks like as soon as it came in, probably about a 1/4 inch, started opening up. And man, these gold dots, every time I test them, they have a real distinct cutting pattern that they put in this gel. Really cool to see. And then it did settle down just about the last inch or so, and then we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have from the side. So our widest point from the side is exactly the same, 2.5 inches. So pretty good numbers for that short barrel. It's usually, you know, average of what I'm getting so far. And then from the inch longer barrel for the 31, usually about 100 feet per second more. So let's see. So we made it at our leading edge 1.75 inches. So that is 12.75 inches total of penetration for that one. You can see that round resting down in there. So let's set up for that 45 and see how that one does. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so our impact velocity on that one was 986 feet per second. So not too bad at all, especially out of that short barrel. So good to see those numbers for sure, especially if it's rated at 1,000. And let's see how we did. So it looks like we got a really nice shot on that one also. You can see right down in that big old hole for that 45, of course, and then a nice star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check out that stretch cavity for that one. That's actually pretty surprising, pretty impressive for that round for sure. Almost looks identical to that 357. And that one did start to flatline a little bit quicker towards the end, and it doesn't look like we made it out of that block. Actually, if you can see right there, it's about halfway in between the second block and the first block. So pretty cool to see. So let's see what kind of stretch cavity got on this one. So it looks like at our widest point, we are at 2 3/4. So it looks like we got a 1/4 inch bigger stretch on that. So actually pretty surprising there. So really good to see. So let's check it out from the side. Oh yeah, that's a really nice one also. So it looks like as soon as this one came in, opened up really quickly, about that 1/4 inch mark. And this one has some really distinct spiral cuts also. And then this one looks like it settled down probably the last 2 inches or so, about 1.5 inches. Just starts to flatline a little bit, and then we just were shy of that second block. Might be able to see it in between there, but it's just sticking out of that first one. So really cool there. So let's see our stretch from the side. So on this one, we are 2.5 inches from the side, so about the same as that SIG. So really good so far. So let's check it out. So you can see that round resting right down in there, and it is actually backwards. So this one, I can't really say that it went in. It's literally about 1/4 inch into this second one, and then it's literally just sitting there. So we'll check that out here in a second, but let's check out these stretches one more time. So they're actually pretty identical. You could tell that that 45 does have a little bit bigger profile on that one, but man, they almost look the same. It looks like that 45 settled down a little bit quicker there towards the end, but man, those are some really impressive splits right there and cuts. So here is that 357 SIG. You can see as soon as it came in, opened up really nice. Got some really cool spiral cuts going through. Just over halfway through that block, and did start to settle down a little bit, and then that one did make it into that second block. I have this second one flipped, so that's why our tracks are a little bit different. But that one went, I believe, 1.5 inches or so in, but not too bad there. And our 45, this one's about the same. It actually looks like this one delayed a little bit compared to that other one, so maybe about 1/2 inch or so. Came in, opened up, and man, some really big spiral cuts there. But I did dump quite a bit of energy there towards that first half of the block, and then did flat line, and we made it right there. But man, every time I test these gold dots, I have some really awesome cuts in this gel. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some really nice expansion for both of them. So the one on the right is that 357 SIG, the one on the left is that 45, but man, did they mushroom out really nicely. So here is that 357 SIG. You can see that one peeled back perfectly. You can see that signature gold dot down in there, and this one is that 5-petal gold dot, but man, we got some really nice expansion there. Perfect mushrooming for that one. There is a little bit of gel still left in there, but we'll rinse that here at the end before we get all our pictures and stuff. But man, some really nice expansion. So awesome to see there. When I do test it out of the longer barrel, it does kind of push this one on almost to its breaking point. So these petals do you know, fold back pretty crazy. Not as uniform as this one, but really nice slug there. And for that 45, man, that is a chunk of lead right there. Same thing with this one, perfect mushrooming on that one. Petals peeled back really nicely, and pretty good numbers. Whenever I do test this one, it's usually just over 1,000 feet per second. So it was just shy of that this time, so still really good to see, especially out of that short barrel. But man, we got some really nice performance with that one also. So let's check them out from the bottom. So one on the right is that SIG, one on the left is that 45. You can definitely tell a difference there. Quite a big size difference for sure. And from the top, so like always, we'll have our still shots and slow-mo and all that good stuff here at the end. So there we go. There was that 357 SIG versus 45 auto. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, so here's that cross section for that first one. Looks like you got some really nice splits so far. You can see right down in that cavity, it does look like there's a little bit of that cotton t-shirt that it did drag in. Same on this one, really nice splits, big splits. Almost perfect, like a star pattern. I did remeasure these at their widest points. They're right at 2 3/4 inches. So I believe out in the field they're about 2 1/2. So pretty good so far, especially for that short barrel. Is actually pushing out pretty good. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom side is the right, this top is the left. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in, probably 1/4 inch or less, started opening up. You can see a nice wide stretch cavity going on throughout this whole little chunk of gel. And some really nice splitting going on. Like I said out there, these gold dots usually have a real distinct pattern in this gel. And they always make some really nice clean cuts in here. Perfect cuts usually, but you can see a little bit more of that cotton t-shirt down in there. And some pretty big splits. So same on this top. Came in, opened up. Nice wide stretch cavity throughout this whole part. And right down in here you can see quite a bit more of that fabric that it brought in. But same thing on this side. Really, really nice cuts. Really clean cuts. So very cool to see for that 357 SIG. So there we go. That was the 125 grain Speer Gold Dot. All right, and here's that cross section for that 45. Basically the same thing. Got some really good splitting going on. Doesn't look like as much. It basically just looks like an X in this one. But pretty nice cut so far. Same with this one. I did remeasure this, and we're pretty much identical at the right at 2 3/4 inches. They both had pretty similar energies, but yeah, it's pretty impressive for that 45 actually, especially out of that short barrel. So really good to see there. So let's cut this open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right, this top is the left. But pretty much same as that last one. As soon as this thing came in, opened up really nicely. Has a nice, good stretch cavity going throughout. And this one actually did drag in a little bit more of that cotton t-shirt. That hollow point cavity was huge though, so kind of expected on that one. But same as that last one also. Really big, deep splits on this. And pretty much just a jumbled mess down in there. There's some really, really small shavings of lead. That kind of got left in there. That is a bonded round, so of course it's not going to really lose anything, but there's some really small slivers. But same thing on this top. You see it came in, opened up, leaving a really nice stretch cavity. And same on this side. A little bit more of that cotton t-shirt that it drug in. And some really nice splitting going on. So really good to see for that 45 that it could definitely keep up. There we go. That was that 200 grain plus P Speer Gold Dot.